Welcome back to another episode of DP Outdoors. Today, we're covering rim jobs. What? You can't say rim jobs on YouTube? Oh. Well, that's awkward. We're covering rim joists. So these are your rim joists. It's the wooden gap between the first floor and your basement walls. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and give you a quick little span. So, first floor flooring, rim joists, and then you got your basement wall. And the little section right in between, the little wooden gap, that's the rim joist. A lot of these places are not sealed or insulated properly, so that's what we're going to go over. How to seal it and how to insulate it properly. The reason you're going to want it to be insulated and sealed is a couple things. One, it's going to keep the cold air outside in the wintertime and the warm air outside in the summertime. Alright, so first thing you guys are going to want to do is clean out these rim joists. I ended up sweeping and then vacuuming all the gunk out from up inside of there, spider webs, sawdust. After you get that all cleaned out, you're going to want to go to process number 2, which is locating any big gaps. I ended up using silicone, and I'll show you the exact stuff I used here in a minute to find the gaps, and then went through and filled them up. So as I pan across, you can see a lot of it was right on the seal, which was where the wall and the wood began. And on a draftier day or colder, warm day outside, you can actually feel, especially in this corner, you can actually feel the air coming through there. So I sealed all that up, which stopped the immediate airflow from coming into my basement. This is the silicone I used. It's DAPS Alex Plus. Feel free to use whatever you want to, but just in case you're curious, it's the clear one for molding, trim, baseboards, windows, and doors. Alrighty, beautiful people. After you got that all cocked up, we're going to actually go ahead and measure our cavity. So when we're doing so, we're going to measure the height and width. So it's approximately 7.5 by 10. Let's go talk insulation. For insulation, I'm putting foam board on first. I'm using the Owens Corning 150. It has an R value of 7.5 and is 1.5 inches thick. After putting on the foam board, I'm going to put on the flash and bat, also by Owens Corning. It is the R13. That's going in front of the foam board. So let's get to it. Welcome to the cutting station. After measuring out your rim joist, ready to cut the foam board to the specific size. A couple tricks that I have found is one, a drywall T-square works wonders for the length of this foam board, as well as helping you keep straight lines. So measure it, and I use a Sharpie to make marks going down so I know where to keep it, and then the T-square just helps keep everything in line. Once you have all the cavities measured and the foam cut, it should look something like this. You should make sure that you put about 1/4 inch is what I found is the best all the way around to make sure there's a little bit of a gap in between the wood and the foam board. You don't really want to be jamming it and shoving it in there and forcefully putting it. You know, make sure it slips in there nice and easily. The foam that we are going to use, the Great Stuff foam, which I will show you next, is going to actually expand and fill up all those gaps. This is the expanding foam that I've been using. Great Stuff. I got this type of nozzle, that way it doesn't continue to come out of the nozzle and make a mess everywhere. You can get whatever you want. This one's a little bit more expensive, but to me it was well worth it. Alright, so we're going to take the expanding foam and we're going to start filling in all the gaps. Alright guys, it is the next day and we are in the last stages. So all the spray foam is nice and dry and hardened and expanded. So we're going to measure the cavities yet again, and we're going to start cutting the fiberglass and batt. We're going to put that in front of your foam. Some people I've talked to says kind of overkill. Everything I've looked up says it's best practice, and I ended up getting the better efficiency, plus it looks a little bit nicer in my opinion, and I'll let you guys see what I'm talking about here in a sec. But we'll pan around to what this kind of looks like. It's kind of dark down here. I haven't had the lights turned off because I'm trying to run new electrical, so maybe we'll make a video on that, who knows. That's what it looks like. So we're gonna cut this fiberglass batt. Good trick when it comes to this, by the way. I still just use the utility knife. However, the best way of cutting this stuff that I have found is actually to use the foam board. I'll get one that's long enough. Fine, we'll use this one. Best way is use the foam board. One, it'll have a nice straight line to it. And the second reason is you're going to be pushing down on it as you're making the cut, which is going to compress all of your fiberglass here. Now, when you see me cutting this stuff, I'm cutting the width of it first. The height all the way around is about 7.5 inches. These are around 15 inches already wide. So I cut the length, and then I've been cutting them in half in order to reach that 7 to 7.5 inches. Alrighty y'all, here's the fiberglass batt inside of the cavities, up at the rim joist, right in front of the foam board. Here's the final product. Like I said, it looks a lot nicer, creates more insulation, so why not do it? Some people say this is overkill, however, I don't really think there could be an overkill or too much insulation, because the whole point is to keep the cold air out or in, depending on what time of year it is, same as the heat. So the more the merrier. Plus I think this looks a lot nicer than the pink foam board, or any color that you have, really white, pink, whatever it is, with a spray foam all around the outside. It's looking goofy. Alright guys, hopefully you found this thing helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Like and subscribe if you don't mind, helps me out a lot. Alright guys, and as usual, have an exquisite day.